Eh? What?
Oh,
Oh, we're live. How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the Aftercast, episode 54, the late night Transformers show. I'm your host, Victory Saber 77, and we're going to have some really good, topics, questions we're going to just kind of dive into and then just see what else kind of sparks from that. But if you guys want to introduce yourselves, is he going to come back? And there he is. All right, Dalton, start us off.
I'm Dalton. You can find me on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, all at Dalton NCTFs. Might be having Cartoon Mondays this upcoming Monday. Depends on what my work schedule's like, so I'll give you more information on that Sunday evening.
Promise
it's going to be over
last week. That's all
I don't make promises.
I don't make promises.
What's it going to be over?
It's going to be over Tailspin.
Right on. Cool. Looking forward to that. Josh?
My name is G1 Hexatron on the internet, and you can find me G1 Hexatron on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and my Facebook page, the G1 Hexatron. No one calls me G1 Hexatron. They always just call me Hex. So.
Well, that's what your sign-off is, though, now. Or you actually know your beginning of your videos. It's like, it was a...
Yeah, it's Hex, or it's G1 Hex, or...
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's your celebrity name, man.
I like Hex. I mean, saying the full thing out is, or you can call me Josh.
You can call me by my real name.
You can call me whatever you want. As long as it's not too vulgar.
Call me Sir. But
Uncle Hex.
Uncle Hex. Well, I am Victory Saber 77. You can find me Twitter and YouTube. We do have some other shows. We have the eBay show, which is once a month on G1 Hexatron's channel, Thursday, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Episode 9 is in video form that we recorded last week, so go check that out. There's also the Cybercast, which you should have watched prior to this show, which is every Saturday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. It is in video form on G1 Hexatron's channel, and we had guests Derek J. White and Josh Perez on there. Next week, March 28th, we're going to have Omnigonics, and they're going to go over hopefully some really great details on Spin-Out, their not MP Sunstreaker, and some other things that might be in the works and such like that. So really going to be a good show. We're also bringing back we have brought back the Collector Spotlight, so if you guys want to have your collection spotlighted on the Cybercast, just email Josh at g1hexatron@gmail.com. Keep your pictures maybe 10 to 20 and no collections too big or small, and also make sure that you tell us who you are so we know to give you credit. Alias, real name, cover name, whatever you want. Check out Josh's Facebook page. We have he has a lot of stuff on there that's streaming. So if you guys want to catch up and watch Transformers RID, the new show that's out, he's got episodes 1 through 10. Definitely worth checking out. There's also the Avengers 2 third trailer. He's also got The Flash, Part 2, Season 1. And Car Robots, thanks to Karudo. Oh, God, I forgot their name now. Karudo fan subs. They did Car Robots a while back, giving us a proper translation of that, and it's also on G1 Hexatron's Facebook page too, so go check that out. All right, I think that's it.
One thing to add about the eBay show that we did, to kind of bring it up, is it's one that I, out of the 9 episodes we've done, it's one that I kind of enjoyed the most. Is we are looking at, basically Transformer ripoffs from the 80s. So we were talking about, Zybots, Mysterians, or is that what it is? Yeah, Converters, yeah. Roboforce, Robots, and Robotron. To where they're all kind of like someone, I think on Twitter, they were like, Robotron, was it? Or maybe it was Roboforce. I forget which one it was. But they were like, that wasn't really kind of a ripoff of Transformers, that it was more of a He-Man. But the thing is they came out with robots to capitalize off the popularity of Transformers. So, like we kind of mentioned in the video, they didn't transform or anything, but it was coming out during the robot craze, with Transformers and GoBots. So, it was one that was a lot of fun, and We looked at a lot of stuff, and if you grew up in the 80s and you always were trying to remember, like, I remember having some of these weird kind of like transforming robots, but I didn't really know what they went to. You'll probably see them in the video. So, those are transforming peacock. I mean,
Oh yeah.
why on earth would you
Oh.
buy a Transformers, G1 Megatron, a gun, or Starscream a jet when, a couple aisles back you got a peacock and a cash register and a roulette wheel.
Slot machine.
Yeah, so.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, I wanted to get my butt kicked on the playground, so that's why I picked up. Definitely. So, I wanted to be that cool, fun kid that everyone wanted to go to their house and be like, "Oh, I need to go to his house. He's got the cash register. He's got that peacock owl." Not to make fun, and I'm trying not to, just not dog them too much, but they were pretty hideous. and and to see some of the prices on them were just like, really? Um, just kind of odd, but all right. And yeah, I apologize too. My internet went down. I was like, thought I was talking to Josh, and he was just kind of staring at me, and I'm talking, but I was like, oh, I don't have any internet. Thank you, Comcast. Appreciate it. So I think they're in cahoots with Google. That's just me.
They're trying
All right.
to bring this down.
They are. Hate the Transformers fandom. Or they just like to cause riots. Transformers. MP23 exhaust. I wanted to get a little more in depth on the thoughts on that because we're now seeing the pictures. We saw them on Cybercast, so definitely you need to check that out. What do you guys think? Especially being that he actually has a number for us collectors. He's MP23, and since we can't get him from any U.S. e-tailer, are we going to be just going Bumblebee? MP22, or I mean Ultra Magnus, which is MP22, skip MP23, and then go right to MP24 Star Saber. I mean, what do you guys think about that?
Dalton, you want to go first?
I'm going to get him anyways. Whether it be, buying him from someone else to have them, ship him over here or wait for a knockoff. Either way, I'm going to try to find a way to buy him.
Cool. Josh?
Yeah, I'm gonna find some way to get my hands on them. Regardless if I want official, but because it's one of the things, you look at like G1 Triptychon, it didn't release in the UK, so whenever they want to buy him and the UK from US sellers that will actually ship over there, because a lot of people there are like, hey, I only deal with in the States only. He's like extremely expensive. Like tack on $200 onto whatever normally Triptychon goes for, $400 or $500 depending on condition and bots and stuff like that. So they're looking at like $700, and I kind of look at that the same way as this guy. He's not going to be sold at e-tailers here in the U.S., so it's a lot harder for American-based customers like ourselves or collectors to get our hands on them. And a lot of people know that, and so if they are willing to sell and ship to us, then I think the price hike is going to be pretty extreme. Not Eva Prime and Bathing Ape, yeah, MP10 extreme, but those were limited. But still, you're going to see him go for quite a bit. Also, if you're willing to get on eBay, I haven't even checked, see if he's on eBay and what he would be going for. But maybe I can do that a little bit later on, or someone else can. But if you are going to do that, then I'd do it now before the knockoff comes off, because there's going to be a ton of companies that are just like throwing knockoffs up there, and it's going to be really hard to figure out which one is authentic and which one's fake or KO, just because they're both going to be high in price.
Yeah.
And those are going to even the KOs of exhaust are going to demand quite a bit of money as well. Maybe even as much as your regular car masterpiece figures like Sideswipe and Wheeljack and stuff like that. I could even see a KO being that much.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, at least with the Bathing Ape and the Nemesis, and those, they weren't like the official release for that, like that numbering. was like MP10. They're like MP10B, MP10 whatever, and this is actually MP 23 instead of kind of having that kind of maybe E or whatever at the end of what was Wheeljack MP20 or something like that, or 18 or I don't know. I got his number, but
20.
instead of sharing his number scheme, but oh well. All right, I forgot because I have senior moments now. Getting to that age. Halls. We need to go over our halls here. So, here we go. This is going to be a big one. This is going to probably be at least 30 minutes into our show. So, got at least one topic out of the way. All right, Dalton.
I've finally found the Legends Bombshell. I also picked up Armada Megatron, and I went ahead and decided to pick up the Minicon Assault Team.
Oh, okay. Those little guys.
Mm-hmm. And they're about Legend size themselves, so I was actually surprised how big they were compared to the original Minicons.
Are those Autobots or Decepticons? Or are they just like neutral or whatever?
Their own faction.
They're their own faction.
Yeah.
All right. I just asked because I'm playing the Transformer mobile game, and you get an extra
been
buff.
addicted to that game.
You get an extra buff if you have all Autobots on a team. I'm like, do I add them to my Autobot power team? Because I don't want to get dinged. So I was just trying to figure that out.
Sweet. Josh, what you got?
This is what I was kind of looking around the floor, which is where everything is. I mean, it's a mess in here, but from what I can remember, Star Wars Blackline Han Solo in a Stormtrooper disguise, Star Wars Blackline Bosk. Cool. I bought another Star Wars Blackline Biker Scout since I was able to get that for like $19. I got the Tiamat Nick Turtles head popping Leo and Donnie. And I've got quite a few vintage Batman animated figures, all 100% complete. I'm not going to name them all, but I got 13 figures, 5 mini vehicles, and the collector's case.
Okay.
And and I got what is this thing called? I ended up getting the DC Comics designer series from Greg Capullo.
Whatever, the Batgirl, and she's one that I got twice already, and things broke on her both times. Well, this is a new painted version, and because the first one that I got was from the New 52. It's the same mold, but I looked at it and I was like, you know what? Let me give this another try. Maybe they kind of fix that or put extra glue in the hair and kind of moving around and. It also comes with different weapons. Instead of that stupid grappling hook, she actually comes with 3 batarangs, which I think is better as well. So I gave it a try, and she seems to be pretty good. Haven't really messed with the hair, but it doesn't seem to have the same QC issues as the New 52 one. So if you were like me and you had problems, QC issues with the New 52 Batgirl, give this designer series 1 a try, and I think those issues are pretty much fixed. So
cool. That's one that has like the really bright blue eyes, isn't it?
Yeah, she's got really bright blue eyes. The face on these designer series, they're a little more fleshy, and then she's got a lot more like metallic gold. Like all this was back here was kind of like a metallic gold, but all this now. I can't even remember what the original one was, but and you can see like little bitty batarangs, which are pretty cool. So yeah, as far as the paint, nothing's scratched or anything like that. The joints move fine. The hair isn't like falling out as soon as you take it out of the package. So not too bad. Because I really like the design of it. I thought it was a really nice figure, but QC issues. Same thing with Batman animated series, Catwoman. We know, like I kind of said the last time on Aftercast, that when they come out with that starting wave 2, they're gonna make better plastic in the joints, so we don't have as many QC issues that we had in wave 1. And whenever they come out with wave 1 again, they're going to fix those issues again. So I was like, well, this being kind of the second run of her, maybe they address some of those issues with her as well, and it seems like they did. So that's why I was willing to give it a shot.
Sweet. Yeah, it looks really, really sweet. For me, I got quite a bit of crap going on a third-party kind of
Binge.
ordeal. But I got, let's see, Fans Project, Steel Core, Columpio, the TFCon exclusive, Mastermind Creations, Hexatron, the Continuum with the Stag Cleavers. I picked up Masterpiece Ultra Magnus. I picked up a couple of Power Rangers. I picked up the NECA Alien Corporal Hicks versus a Xenomorph, where the Xenomorph warrior's getting his face blown off, or his head blown off. That was kind of cool. And I think that's it. I don't know. I'm probably missing some, but that's it. So it was pretty cool to get those. And yeah. So, all right.
Got a couple of comments real quick.
Okay.
Shava says, from the eBay show, says transforming totem pole and the crap of the crap. Yeah, probably a couple of good one-liners there. And then he also says, what do you have hiding back there, James? I guess he's talking about your Hexatron box that he sees in the background. So something a little bit new.
Yeah. That's what I got today, along with Columpio, Stag Cleavers, Ultra Magnus, and yeah. So.
And last one is the Leon Die. I'm sorry, I'm probably saying that wrong. It says, Josh, you beast, you broke 2 Batgirls. Yeah. Just manhandling them. No, not. But, yeah. DC Collectibles, they've got some QC issues that they really need to address. So things are, better moving forward. Who tests these things? I don't know if you want to make that a topic or what, or just talk about it for a moment. But
yeah, we can talk about
it. Whenever a lot of these figures, this is for an adult. This is for an adult. Also with the animated series, those are for adults. Because they don't sell them at regular retail. You can buy them at Hastings or comic book stores, but they're not located at your Walmart, your Target, your Toys R Us, and stuff like that, your main chain. So to me, that kind of makes it it's an adult collectible. And the Star Wars Black Line series, kind of the same thing there. That's kind of catered more to adults, even though it's found at mass retail. But I wonder who they get to test these things. They get adults that have gloves on and they're just barely moving it. Because even though it's an adult collectible, you still think that you should be able to move the joints the way that they're supposed to move without feeling like you're gonna break it off. Especially if it's intended to move that way. You're like, hey, look at this joint. The wrist swivels back and forth, and you're like, okay, let me try that. And it's almost stuck, like it's glued together, and you try to just force it a little bit, and then it just snaps off from the peg. Stuff like that. I don't know who tests those things. Then you look at Transformers, with these coming out with Legends and Combined Wars Deluxe and Voyager things. Man, those things are solid. It's like they test those with kids, obviously, and they keep us in mind, but the quality is a lot better for those. I kind of wish that they would maybe test some of these other figures with I don't know, 14-year-olds or something like that, even though it's not targeted at them. I'd like them to test it, And if they're breaking them, then let's make some improvements. I mean, what do you guys kind of think about that as far as the way that they test toys and collectibles and make sure that they're up to the standard as far as joints and the way they're made?
I think they should just do a 10-foot drop test. If they make it, they go through.
There you
If
go.
they shatter when they hit the ground, then obviously something needs to change.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to adhere to the adult collector um, name that we've now just been identified as for the last like 5 years or so, especially when Mattel puts that on their product, adult collector, it then should be able to be, as far as QC issues, shouldn't have anything. It should be made of, durable stuff. It should also, since once we're paying a premium price for this, it's not like some $10, $15 figure that you're going to buy at like Walmart or something. It should be not just look really aesthetically pleasing, but be able to hold together without the fear of it falling, just falling down on a shelf and just like, oh, look, it's because the knee just went out, or the head just popped off because it had brittleness in the neck joint. And I mean, I get the fact that these aren't like used for playing. You're not. I mean, these are high collectibles, so you shouldn't be using them to like, hey, we're gonna go have a battle scene out in the backyard. I'm gonna go grab my collectible stuff and go out there. But still, it just seems like Maddie is not too interested in doing the QC. They're doing the aesthetics, and like, if you're gonna do that, give us a stand so it will not fall, or to help it or something.
Well, you collecting Masters of the Universe classics.
Yeah.
Even another problem with quality control is not just the quality of the plastic used, but also I know that there's been several figures that have come with like the feet on the wrong feet or the wrong
Backward shoulders.
thighs or backward shoulders, just all kinds of crazy stuff, and it's like, how does this make it pass into final production? And it being an adult collectible, I don't care if you've got it all the way into packaging, ready to ship, and then some dude is like, hey, these are the wrong shoulders, then it needs to be corrected.
Yeah.
You don't need to just ship it out and be like, well, it's, we made a mistake here. We'd lose money if we corrected it. No, this is an adult collectible. You say adult collectible on the packaging. This is not something that we can just, hey, something's messed up on here, and then I go take it back to Walmart and exchange it for, one that's not messed up. You have to. I don't know how it gets past. Even the Voyager Brainstorm by Hasbro, little headmaster thing. How did that make it this far?
Yeah,
Especially if using like younger kids to like mess with it. You have us adults that are messing with Masterpiece and third-party things like $200 items or even more expensive, and we can't even get the head off of this Brainstorm without ripping the head out of the socket. And we got to modify them, and then they eventually corrected the problem, but
I think it was too late though. I mean, the line's already past the generations. We're into Combiner Wars, so where are those new Brainstorms? What e-tailer, or not e-tailer, but what brick or mortar store like Walmart or Target's going to want to carry that old stock, supposedly, but even though it's new stock because it's been fixed.
Mine will eventually.
And by that time, we're not even going to remember it. Seems like at times, like, oh, is this the new one or is this the old one?
You gotta remember where rubber bands are placed and stuff like that. That's the way that you identify it.
They should have done what they did with like Crosscut. They delayed that figure. They should have caught it at some point and decided we need to take this back, fix the feet or whatever they had to do, and then release it again, because that was supposed to be released in the Rat Trap, line, wasn't it? I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they should have done with Brainstorm. We saw it at BotCon. It looked amazing, but someone should have caught that and said, hey, we need to make sure that this is up to par, instead of like, screw you, collectors, we're going to do another version. You can fix it, or we can give you the proper one, but it's going to be later on, and we're not going to do anything for your broken one or whatever, the modified one that you had to do. And we're going to charge a full price too again. So, even though that's the retailers, but still, it seems odd. But people, as far as the QC issues that work for like Mattel, Hasbro, any company, Jack specific, I just wish that they would be a little more stringent on their quality control. But anything else with that?
I know they do bring kids in to test. You know, these products get tested. You know, so that's why you really don't see very many QC issues. You know, like the brainstorm thing with Transformers, is because they test them with younger kids. But you know, with the stuff that you're putting adult collectible on, you know, backward shoulders or whatever the case may be, or two right, you know, not bicep, but forearms, you know,
Yeah.
they're supposed to be, you know, they're supposed to get a left and a right, but you got two right ones, you know, so he looks kind of strange looking. That's the stuff that, like, how does that make it past? You know, you guys are the He-Man people, you know. You know, and you put adult collector on there, like you'd think that they would know.
Well, I think Mattel blamed it on the factory since it's overseas. That someone over there dropped the ball and they didn't notice it until it was too late, and just like, we'll just go with it.
Mattel does a lot of like blaming other people. It's the same thing with like Digital River. They still use Digital River? Or?
Oh yeah.
Okay, well here's the thing with that is I remember, what was it, like 2 years ago, where people were getting like double charge, triple charge, wouldn't even get the figure. People were getting the figure sent for free, and 2 months later, then here's like 2 charges for the the same figure, and it just all kinds of crazy stuff was happening with Digital River. And Mattel was like, it's all Digital River's fault. You know, it's not us, it's Digital River, the company we use to process your payment. Well, they're still using Digital River. So even though they're placing the blame on someone else, and not, you take responsibility for it, you realize what the problem is, and then you correct it, and then if you need to move on to someone else, you move on to someone else. I mean, but if you're just like, yeah, it was their fault, not us, don't be mad at us. You're the one that employed them to process your payments.
Yeah.
You're still using them. Yeah. Why continue to use them? They have so many problems.
Yeah, and it was a constant back and forth battle. It's like, well, that's not technically us, that's Digital River. Okay, and then Digital River say, no, that's just something you got to bring up with Matty, collector, on that.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Like, it goes
back and forth.
I'm like, dude, I don't, as the customer, I don't think I need to go back and forth. One of you just take care of the item, and fix it. But it's just royally crap. But speaking of kind of transitioning into something else, we, QC issues, but let's, in a way, look at Hasbro versus Takara. Hasbro gives us a product, and then, a couple of months later, Takara comes out with, well, same product, but better paint apps, obviously better packaging at times, because I always love the Takara packaging, especially the boxes now that they're coming in. And Legends Megatron. I know some people were holding out for the Legends, the Takara version, but now that we've kind of see it, is it worth that weight or that extra?
Are you talking about that Combiner Wars?
Yeah, the Combiner Wars Legends Megatron.
Okay.
Because Takara's line is the Legends series, so sorry.
Right.
Could have made it better. But,
I get confused. It's that old age. So.
I know I have them all the time. But do you think it's worth the wait, worth the extra money, now that we've kind of seen some pictures of the Takara version, or is it like, because I saw that the paint apps weren't as the same. Like, I think they took away some, if I'm not mistaken.
They took away a lot
on the Takara. So usually it's the other way around. What are your thoughts on that?
Good on, I'll be right back.
Well, obviously I got the Hasbro version, so I'm glad I got that over the Takara, because they took away the red on the arms, a lot of the pinups on the chest. Yeah, and same with the abdomen. It was painted red on the Hasbro, just silver paint on the Takara.
Yeah.
It's kind of disappointing.
And is that worth that extra? What is it, like $30?
I wouldn't say it's worth it.
Yeah, that's my thoughts. I want Josh's opinion because I think he mentioned that he was holding out for that Takara. So here it
However
is.
has more paint apps. There's my answer.
Yeah, yeah. For once, Hasbro actually outdid Takara. But what's your thought, Josh? Because I remember you saying that you were going to hold off maybe for that Takara version if you were thinking about getting it.
Yeah. Then I also started thinking, I was like, well, Takara, it's already a leader class, and it's going to be, one of those little bit more expensive figures. And then you add Takara on there and importing, and it's going to make it even more. And I'm like, well, by the end of it, we'll probably halfway be there to Apollyon. And I was like, I might just watch a review. If it's good quality, like I think it will be, I might just go that route. But here's the thing with the Combined Wars Megatron. If you don't like some of the issues, like some of the issues are the cannon, the way that it looks and with the things sticking out, some people don't like that. The legs, to where they're kind of like, you either have them like really close together, or if you try to do one click on each to spread them out, then they kind of slide out to where now it's too wide. So it's like you kind of have to have it either or. Getting the Takara is not going to fix those issues. So if those are your issues, I would just go with the Hasbro, just because you'd still have those issues with Takara, so why pay more for it? Basically, like I always say, if you're not totally in love with the figure, then why buy it? It's just going to be one of those things that a year from now you'll put in a buy-sell trade thread and try to dump for half of what you paid for it. So
Yeah, true.
If you don't love it,
I do think though that, and this is just my opinion, that the Megatron is one of those home run hits. Goes back to Springer. I think Hasbro did a really fantastic job blending both sides together, for what it's worth. Now, is it worth the price of going after a Takara version? No, I wouldn't do that. I would go the route of either getting the Hasbro version, or like what Josh said, get the Apollyon once we see some reviews. That thing looks amazing, but again, I mean, it fits that masterpiece line too. I mean, the Apollyon. That's where I would be displaying it too. And the Combiner Wars Megatron, even though it's technically Chug, I still like my Hegemon more than that. Even though I do have them displayed next to each other, but it's just one of those. And even the United, I still like the United for what it's worth. But yeah. But I'm glad that they released that leader class, and he'll look good with like Ultra Magnus when that leader class comes out too.
And then the later class Seekers.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. They'll be actually being scale with one another a little bit more.
Do a leader class Soundwave, and yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
You kind of have the Seekers and the Megatron and the Soundwave. I mean, it's a nice little setup right there. If you can't quite afford, the masterpiece stuff, or track some of it down because it's going to be, expensive to backtrack some of the stuff like Thundercracker. But that's a route to go to where you can still have that larger scale to kind of substitute in there.
It just means I have to get the Rumble and Frenzy from United to go with that leader class Soundwave.
Yep.
I got Ravage already. That came with Hound.
Yeah.
I had something really good for us to talk about, but I forgot it. So if it comes back.
Let's see. Hold on here. I gotta tell. Okay. Hey, Trent, check your email. I sent you an invite. Yeah, definitely. I think the Megatron, and once those Seekers come out and we get again Starscream, Thundercracker, Skywarp, um, yeah, it's gonna be really nice
Mhm.
to have them kind of in scale with each other and that larger size. And I do think the Megatron does scale well with the Voyager class Optimus. And then if Optimus needs to get more power, he's got the combiner effect, so he can become that ultimate prime or whatever the hell they call it.
Mhm.
So, all right. So next topic, real quick. We all have it. MP24 Star Saber. We're all excited. We're all giddy like little schoolgirls. Is this the most anticipated masterpiece figure you think to date?
I would say so.
Like,
That's just my personal opinion.
seems like Christmas time. It's like I just can't
Yeah.
wait for that day to get here so I can get that. So I mean, for me, it's Tuesday. He's going to be here Tuesday, and I can't wait.
Wow.
I think the only thing that could rival it as far as anticipation would be MP10 and Soundwave. Because
And
I
you're talking the
remember,
Hasbro release, right? Or the
well,
actual Takara releases.
I guess Hasbro released for MP10 because you got all that stuff, and for the price, I think it was only $100 when it first started, and then it went to 125, and it's obviously gone up. I ended up getting mine for 100, and then Soundwave, even whenever it was Takara, was a pretty big hype about it, and a lot of people were just like even like whenever you have people like Marzo that if they collect Transformers, like they're getting Soundwave and like maybe a Megatron, maybe a Starscream, but like Soundwave would be like, hey, you can only get one, it would be Soundwave. So a lot of people that don't really get into Transformers, Soundwave is just that really cool character. Like if you want just one guy to represent, then Soundwave to a lot of people is like one of the coolest ones. It's just something about him, the boxiness, the fact that he's got all these like cool little cassettes and stuff like that, and just faceplate, the way he talks, his voice in the G1 cartoon. So then you heard you're getting the Hasbro release, and then they're gonna throw in like all 5 cassettes, and it was only gonna be 125. That was amazing. That's probably the most anticipated Hasbro release.
Mm-hmm.
And it's jumped up the most in price. I remember as soon as you couldn't find those things. I actually had to
I
have
still can't find it.
assistant manager. Oh, it's not showing up anytime soon. But assistant manager working at Toys R Us that was like, dude, we only got 2 in. That was all they ever got. And an employee bought one, and they put one in the room for me because I had a deal with Dakota to where I was going to get the 4 extra cassettes, and he was going to get Soundwave and Laserbeak. So I ended up buying it and doing a little deal like that. But otherwise, I wasn't going to be able to get them. That's how hard he was to find. And whenever you look online, I mean, he's going crazy expensive. I haven't looked lately. I'm sure it's still stupid money.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I mean, that was a hard one to get, but I don't think the anticipation was nearly as high as Star Saber, because this is the first time we're getting the figure. We already got that, Soundwave release from Takara, and then the cassettes, and yeah, it did piss off a lot of fandom, for the fact that you're getting the Hasbro version for half the price. So there's a lot of people dropping in and trading and all that kind of stuff, which is understandable. I would be doing the same thing, but I don't know. I just feel like, and I'm biased probably because he's one of my favorite characters. Star Saber is just really like setting that bar up there, and the anticipation is just like, I want it. I mean, also because it's a Japanese character, and it might be the only Japanese character we're going to get for maybe a couple years till whenever. I don't know. I just feel that there's a lot more anticipation with that one instead of Soundwave, or even when they scaled down, Prime to MP10, decided to name that as the new scaling for the Masterpiece line. But I don't know. The next one might be, Megatron after this. just to get that in-scale official, especially if it's a gun. Anticipated figure, because we already have Prime and all that, but we all have him pre-ordered, Star Saber, and he's going to be here. There's going to be like probably 100,000 reviews of him all out there and everything, so that's going to be fun. But I have not watched any reviews yet. I mean, I know Chris tweeted to me a review of Charles. What is his name? Optimus Prime,
SG, Optimus Prime or something.
Yeah. And he's a great reviewer. He does Brave. He does a lot of Soul Chigokin stuff, and he does a lot of stuff that's over because I think he's in Hong Kong. But I did not want to watch his stuff because I was like, no, I don't want to have your anticipation. I don't want to know the transformation. Nothing. This is the first time ever. I usually spoil myself and watch, someone's review of something, but for this, I'm not. No. And granted, I will get Victory Leo out. I'm gonna try and combine them and all that type of stuff and see what happens. But
see, this is like you need to get your Instagram now, so that way you can take all those pictures of that stuff and post them up. That's one of the things. Whenever it comes to Masterpiece, we know about it, or even third-party stuff. We know about it, months in advance that we're gonna get it. And most of us are like, okay, a new one came out. Obviously going to get it. It's not even a question, are you going to get this? Of course, I'm going to get it. Because it's part of the Masterpiece line. On stuff that I'm on the fence with, do I want to buy this? Do I not want to buy this? Then I'll watch a review of it. I know that people watch the reviews for different reasons. Some people want to feel the nostalgia of watching a G1 or Arma, whatever you grew up as a child, and to find out any little information you can give them. That way they can a little bit more educated if they go online on eBay or wherever you want to buy it from and try to buy it. If you're on the fence about something, like that's when I watch mainly reviews. But stuff that I know that I'm getting and I'm going to review, I do the same thing as James. I don't even watch any reviews because I also don't want to hear someone say something about something and then just me accidentally use that in mine.
Yeah.
So I want it to be like, I'm going to review this. This is, I haven't watched any reviews, and everything's going to be my original thoughts. Now, as many reviews as there are about stuff, is there a chance that I might say something kind of similar to someone else? It's possible, but it's not going to be because, I watched theirs first, and then, after I put mine up, then I'll go watch, a couple because I like to kind of compare and see what they did different, see if there was something I missed or, see how much better mine is, stuff like that. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, if you're into reviewing, it seems like you kind of, for me, you should go that mile to not watch anyone else's. So it's an original piece. You're not influenced, and it just and it's just personally, I don't want to be influenced. I know Protoman says I don't do transformations because I don't want to spoil that for the person who actually gets the figure. I just want to throw in my 2 cents, give a little bit of a history about it, which is really cool too. Especially if you continue with that route, so your fandom knows that I'm going to be just getting a nice look at the figure, story behind it, and I'll dive into the transformations by myself, which is really kind of cool. But yeah, same thing. I mean, what's up, Trent?
Hey, how's it going? Sorry about that. I hardly ever use Google Toolbox because it's kind of a pain, and you know what? I see what y'all were saying last week.
Yeah, Google sucks, but but we're glad you're here though. But
thank you,
Dalton. You were saying?
I was saying, I pretty much am the same way. If it's something highly anticipated, I will not watch a review of it. Like, especially Star Saber, when Ultra Magnus comes out, not watching a review. Same with Devastator. Minor War stuff, it's pretty much all going to be the same transformations anyways, so
Yeah.
But with this new stuff, this really new stuff, I'm not gonna watch anything until I get my own and experience it for myself.
And I usually try not to do anything current, because I don't know. I don't like to do things that are current, but
Mhm.
unless it's G1 related in a way. I mean, I've done Swerve, Power Glide, and that stuff, but you had a comment, Josh?
Yeah, this is a question from ChevyTron951. It says, is there a possibility for a Asia Hasbro Masterpiece Soundwave reissue like MP10 reissue that came out recently?
Yes.
Be nice.
You know, if so, then I don't think that it's going to be anytime really soon, just because of the fact that it's still available. You can still buy, not the Hasbro, but the Takara version, and you got Sound Blaster that's actually on sale. I'm probably going to buy him pretty soon because he's on sale for like 130, and I think that's a really good price
Wow.
for him. Yeah. You get him and Ratbat, and obviously I want him already, but 130, man, that's a really good price for that larger, character. But while those are available, MP10 he always just sells out, all the
Yes.
time.
Yeah.
And the same thing with Grimlock too. MPOA, like he's sold out all the time too, to where they just keep on coming back. If they keep on selling out of the stuff, if we know anything by looking at MP08 Grimlock and MP10 Optimus Prime, they will keep on coming out with some type of Asia Hasbro or some type of con exclusive, or this is some King Grimlock, or this is some whatever.
Yeah,
They'll figure out some way to come out with some type of reissue of them if people are still buying it. But right now, you can go buy Soundwave if you want to. You can go buy Sound Blaster on sale if you want to. So, I think, with putting that Hasbro on there, it comes with all 5 cassettes. That would be a smart move. I don't know, the whole Hasbro Takara relationship of hey, we want to do this, or how they have to request stuff if they can do it from Takara. But yeah, I mean, once all that stuff sells out and popularity is building up, and they look at eBay and see stuff, if it's going for a high amount, they're like, you know what? Let's come out with this again. They will.
Yeah.
Plus, they said we're getting like 3 or 4 more Masterpiece reissues this year.
Hopefully it's Soundwave, because that's one I still need to get.
I think they will. Hasbro Asia, they'll definitely do that. I mean, it makes sense. They did it with Acid Storm. They did it with, MP10. They did it with Starscream, Hasbro Asia, the re-release, or was that still under Takara?
Takara. It was still Takara.
It was still Takara. Okay. I do think they'll do it though. I mean, he's such an iconic character that they would have to. But when, that's just like what Josh said. I mean, if e-tailers still have a lot of those sound waves that are Takara based, granted, I don't think Hasbro really gives a crap what Takara does, and I think vice versa. But you never know. But it would be really, really nice to actually get that, and to get maybe that incentive too. Just like with MP10, we got Vector Sigma. Well, we'd come with Soundwave. We'd come with some things for his hands, like we saw in the battle with Blaster, or would he come with a little mini version of himself or something?
Cool, kind of like a little blue diecast version of his cassette form.
Yeah, I mean,
go with that little blaster for tracks.
Yeah.
Store that in the possible Ironhide.
Oh yeah, if they came out with a little bitty Soundwave and his like a little Walkman, but I guess Blaster, if you put a handle on him, if you could do something, I don't know how you'd do it, or put a peg, but even to where Frenzy or Rumble could hold him,
Yeah.
I think that would be kind of funny.
Yeah.
It would be. Next topic. And this is just going to be kind of a short one, unless you guys want to, further. It might open up it might be Pandora's box here, but I'm just kind of curious, the official and unofficial war that we have in the fandom. A lot of people are like Hasbro all the way, or Takara, and with Devastator coming out, and then we already have. Well, I like Make Toys' Green Giant, or I like TFC's Hercules. We all like what we want, but it just seems like there's sometimes this friction. It seems like, well, third party is the way to go. Hasbro sucks, but yet if you want it to change, you have to look at the huge big picture that it's not going to just change overnight. And I think it's gotten better considering what we got 5 years ago to what we have now. But are we still at war with unofficial, official products? What do you guys think about that?
I think this whole war thing is kind of stupid. I mean, if you like third party, good. I mean, I got the Hercules. I'm still keeping it when I get the Devastator. He's just going to go on a different shelf. I'm going to get Warbotron Bruticus. When the Hasbro one comes out, still getting it.
Yeah, I mean, I said that on Twitter this week. I was like, I can't believe this is even a thing, because I saw some other tweets about it and saw it in some forums where people were discussing it and on Facebook, and I'm just like, like people were like, it wasn't so much of it. You'd think that they were the owners of these companies, the way that they were arguing, and I was just like, why do you care so much about what some other fan of Transformers collects? I don't understand. That's like if, okay, Dalton has TFC Hercules and I have Maki Toys Green Giant, and that's like me calling Dalton names and arguing with him until I'm blue in the face because I'm just trying to convince him that Make Toys Green Giant is so much better. And you know what? That's my opinion. His opinion's probably opposite. What does it matter if what he collects I don't get that. So it's, dude, you're a Transformer fan. I'm a Transformer fan, and like you like something else than like what's the big deal there? But yeah, some fans are just like, I want to argue with you about this.
That's the thing. A lot of Transformers here, they've got to argue about everything, just littlest detail. Like if there's this one paint off that's off, and the other guy's like, no, it's fine. It's got to result in an explosion of arguments.
And nothing can just be like, you know what, that looks pretty good. It's always like, well, it's always like this is what's wrong, this is what's wrong, this is what's wrong. There's never any like, well, these are the things that are good. Yeah, it's, I'm not going to comment unless I can say something negative. If it's all positive, then, I'm just going to move on to the next thing that I can find something to say negative about. And that's where a lot of Transformer fans are, That again, like I said, that's why I really don't get into forums that much. I've been participating in forums for the Bold Form Lone Wolf just because I feel it's kind of like, I get information shared, I have the figure, and it's kind of, I guess, my duty to share my thoughts and stuff like that. That was kind of, I guess, what I signed up for whenever they sent the figure to me. But I repeat myself a lot. I'm like, man, just go, like I said it, they'll watch the video and they'll be like, is this gonna do it? I'm like, well, like you said, you watch the video, so the question's answered. If you look just a page back, I answered it like 3 times already, but here you go for 4th, 5th time. Here's the answer. Please, everyone, refer back to this.
Yeah, I've noticed that a lot too, and I'm guilty of it at times, but it's you're not thinking in the moment. You just have that question. You just throw it out there, but you forget to maybe look back, or you see it and like, then I feel like an ass, because I asked it, but
my bad.
Yeah, but what do you think, Trent? I mean, you have third party stuff, you have official, so.
I think it's kind of foolish to just limit to just say I'm Hasbro, no third party, or I'm third party, no Hasbro. I'm like, okay, whatever. But I mean, they both make good stuff.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, the argument of third party versus Hasbro, I'm like, come on, fellas, all just toys.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean,
Like not.
when it all comes down to it, just be happy that there's like tons of options out there for you, and
Yeah.
people keep on making all these toys. You know, uh,
Yeah, we never had this back when we were kids, Josh. I mean, like, we didn't have
No.
this option, of like all these different types of transformers. We had robots, we've had other toys, but like this amount of detail, articulation. I mean, I was fine with just ratchety, shoulders that he could go up and down with no elbow joints, and it just stood there like a brick. Now I can do a super kick with these guys and all this other type of stuff, so it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
I want to test
You
that
can
with Star
actually
Saber,
get
by
them
the
to
way.
pose. You can actually get them to pose and stuff like they could on the back of the boxes back when we were kids. The G1 boxes. You remember? They would all be doing these cool poses, and you get the figure. It looks cool, but it's kind of a brick,
Yep.
and you can
you got
do
like two
now. You
points of
can't.
articulation.
Yeah.
You're looking at your Star Wars figures going, man, these things are really articulate compared to my Transformers, which only had 5. you know? But
Yep.
I mean, GI Joe really blew my mind. I'm like, swivel articulation at the bicep, knee joints, elbow joints.
Yep.
Then they changed the head from a swivel to a ball joint, so up and down, waist swivel. I was like, no, I can't do this. This is too much.
Like, wow. Yeah.
That was futuristic back in the day.
See, another thing that's going is, like with Motormaster, we got the bold forms coming up. If you don't like the bold forms, you can just go with the Hasbro and pick up the Perfect Effect add-on. I'm probably going to do both because they both
Yeah.
look really great.
High roller.
Yeah.
I'm doing both.
Both. Yeah.
Because I like the stuff that Perfect Effect's doing, and I'm gonna buy the Combiner Wars Motormaster when it comes out because I just feel like because I got them, I need that complete set. I know that I'd eventually just kind of be mad at myself, even though I don't really like the Combiner Wars Motormaster. But if I didn't get it and I had all the other Stunticons, and let's say that I end up buying whatever combiners they come out with, I buy all of them, the complete 5 and Devastator with 6. But I'm missing Motormaster. I know eventually I'm going to be kind of mad at myself that I was just like, well, I got the bold forms thing. So I was like, you know what? Let me, get him. I mean, it's only gonna be $25 or whatever. So, it's not like we're talking like spending another $100-something bucks. But I was like, let me get him so I have at least a complete set here. And I love the add-ons, and I think you can go a couple of different ways. Being a G1 fan, I kind of want them to be G1 accurate, but it looks like a totally different figure if you wanted the kind of stylized version with doing the Perfect Effect add-ons. And they're not the only company that's going to be doing add-ons. It's going to be a bunch of other third-party companies that are eventually going to get all 5 figures, and they're going to be making their add-ons as well. And they're always going to be trying to one-up as well. So let's say if Perfect Effect didn't add that centerpiece to the sword, another third-party company would have came out with their little add-on and then added that centerpiece to the sword to be like, one-up. They've done that, so someone else is going to come out with something, and they're going to be like, oh, and now here's a giant gun that's very accurate to his G1, and
Or even a full-on G1 sword.
Yeah.
So they're going to one-up each other, and, you're going to be able to mix and match and, create your kind of your version of Motormaster the way that you see him. If you want him a modernized version, if you want him a G1 style version, whatever the case may be. So, but going back to the topic, if Trent chooses one way, Dalton chooses a way, and Jamie and I, we're all different. What's it matter? Why
There's no
why
Aftercast. Aftercast is done, man. I'm done. I'm not going to be doing this.
And I don't get it a lot of times. It's the same thing whenever you like the Masterpiece, the larger one. I know MP10 and Soundwave with their index finger, little joint right here pops off or whatever. And some people I saw, back then, that were saying, man, he should be a masterpiece, come with all like 5 fingers, all moving around like KFC came out with those add-on hands. They're like, that's how he should be. And then some people were, like, you're an idiot because that index finger pops off. Why do we need? It's hard to keep that thing on there. Why do we want 4 of those? Or they doesn't have the thumb articulation. It's just be happy you got it. And there'll be add-ons. You can do however you want. And
yeah, I mean, how are you gonna pose it with him doing the peace sign, or I mean, what do you want him to like? Yo, hell, I want to be able to do that, or
something a little bit more vulgar.
You want him to be like
we did
Mike
with all our Unicrons.
Oh, you can't do like Mike Game.
Metroplex.
That 1 finger. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious if that crazy Devi Menasor sword would work with the Combiner Wars.
Oh, I'm not paying $50 for it.
True, but that leads me into the next kind of third-party topic: price point. Third parties, they seem to be kind of rising in prices. And what do you think is a good price point for the different scales that we have, like Voyager, or even let's go deluxe, because there's not really too many deluxes out there. But we got Mech Ideas really staying with that kind of deluxe size.
And I love their price range.
Yeah, do you think it's fair?
Yeah.
It's more fair than Fans Project.
Yeah.
Paying
True.
$60 for basically a Scout.
Oh yeah, exactly.
I think with the Scout or deluxe size, they should stick to 30.
Mhm.
Voyager could be like 50, 60. Leader, 70, 80. Or if in the case of Hexatron, 100.
All right. Cool. I mean, I was just kind of like, it just seemed like we had fans toys that, with the Dinobots, they're at the $200 price point. And I believe Gigas Powers, when they're with their Gutter or Gooter, or their Snarl is priced at the same, I believe. $199. I think even Bull's Fire is $199 for their not Swoop. And it just seems like they're just kind of following each other, and I don't know. I just would like for the prices to be a little bit more reasonable. I mean, I get the fact that the e-tailers may have a price markup or whatever it may be, but it just seems like for an unofficial product, especially when you don't know the quality just yet. I mean, you look at DACA Toys.
Yeah.
That thing is still $180 on websites, even though I think the company's done. Is it a great looking figure? Sure. Does it have issues? Definitely. But I just think that why did that debut so high and still is at that high point? It hasn't come down. I mean, even the Fans Project stuff that I've got, the Dinobots, the Diclone series, those aren't cheap compared to just the regular retail version. Granted, I like them just because I get these little Diclone guys, which I love sticking onto anything because they have the magnets on them. They're fun, but I just think that there should be a better price point. I mean, you see Fans Project as far as their Headmaster series, they started out at what, $60, 69 or whatever it was. Now all of a sudden you get Sigma L, who's up to that $80 to $90 price range. It seems like. I don't know. Are we going to constantly continue seeing a price rise as far as like some of these figures? And when's enough? When do we actually, as a fandom, say, you know what? I'm going to stick with Hasbro. Granted, if Hasbro gives us that, I mean, I understand that they haven't given us like a Weird Wolf or a Mind Wipe and all that type of stuff. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I do think that there is a certain point that if they keep going up, I mean, over $100 for a Voyager. That's why I only have like 2.
What?
It's not like
Hasbro $100 for Voyager?
No. Third party.
Okay. I was trying to pick up on the conversation. I thought you were talking about Hasbro. I was like, whoa.
No. I hope not.
I was like, I was gone too long.
Yeah, but I do see a point where eventually they keep talking about this third party bubble. They keep going up in prices, and then nowadays you have to look at something and wonder is there a chance that Hasbro might bring out their own version, their official version of that character?
Mhm.
Now you got to factor that in too.
Hmm.
As far as third party, as far as pricing goes, I think the way that I kind of do it is, one, am I 100% happy with it? And I've sold some third party stuff, and but also, if an official version does come out, am I still going to be happy with this? And I look at the Fans Project Headmasters, and I'm like, yes. Even if Hasbro says, hey, guess what? We're coming out with all the Headmasters. I'll buy them all, but I'm still buying and, collecting the Fans Project Headmasters. And I love those. And they're at $68 a pop, and I think that's a really good deal. If they jumped up in price, let's say use the $100 that you kind of mentioned before, I like them so much. It's one of those things that I'd still pay that. One,
Hmm.
because it's Fans Project doing the Headmasters, and they only come out with like one or two a year, so they're really slow on it. It was one of those things that they come out with like one every like couple months. It's something that I might have to kind of revisit just because I buy so many different things. That I might not have the funds to do something like that, because there's a lot of stuff as far as third party that I got to backtrack, and it's mostly fans toys. You know, they're gonna have their Snarl come out soon. They already got their Swoop out, and that's $400. So some of the stuff is really expensive, and I think it's also to the point where you start getting more expensive than Masterpiece toys, then I'm just gonna be
Yeah,
like, no, I'll
exactly.
I'll wait. Because we know a lot of the way that we've seen with third parties, and we know, like we mentioned even earlier today on Cybercast, it takes about 2.5 years from idea to being available for us, and third parties on average takes about 6 months. And they see the things that Hasbro, Takara, or Masterpiece they're making in factory, and then they're like, all right, now let's make ours. And a lot of the third-party companies, and that's why you see a lot of, let's all make these Dinobots. Let's all make these Predakings. They're all doing it at the same time. And you pick another one, and they're like, hey, we're all making a Masterpiece Reflector now. That's probably because in a couple years you're going to get that figure. A year or two, you're going to get that figure. It's a really good chance. It wasn't just two companies that, in a week's time, said that, you know what, let's do a Masterpiece style Reflector, or two companies, let's do a Masterpiece style Hound. It's not that a coincidence, that this happens all the time. This is stuff that you're probably going to get in a Masterpiece form, and it's going to be anywhere from a year and a half to 2 years maybe down the line. I can't give you an exact number on that, but I refuse to think that it's coincidence, because they see what's going on in the factories and they come out with it. It just takes longer for Hasbro Takara to do stuff like that. So that's why I really don't jump on a lot of third parties that are like, hey, we're Masterpiece style scale or whatever. So
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I would. I. I mean, I've been buying third-party stuff, but I try and keep it into the chug kind of realm, not masterpiece, just because for some reason having the masterpiece at the top of the food chain, I want it to be official. Even though I have Quake Wave, and I think that's an absolute fantastic figure, and unless it's a character that I really don't know if Takara is going to touch, I might get it. But just for me, I just want that official product. Even though I did buy the KO Goldie, but again, we're not going to get that anywhere. So, last question, and then we will, call it a night, I guess. Now we're getting Devastator in the Titan class. but that's just not big enough and such to become like a nemesis to Metroplex. Even though even in the show he wasn't a nemesis. So Metroplex needs a nemesis. So Triptychon, or are we gonna? What's more likely to happen, Triptychon or a Metro Titan, or even say Necro Titan, based off the Metroplex mold? What do you think Hasbro will go with? Or
I
none?
personally, I would probably put my money on seeing like a repaint first before a Triptychon, because it would probably be like a whole new mold. Probably the Necro Titan, because that is what showed up to. Well, that is where Metroplex showed up to fight in the book. But wasn't that Metro Titan?
Um, I don't know. I remember that Metro Titan was Strax's ship,
Yeah.
and he got destroyed. Maybe, I'm not quite sure. I think people are distinguishing them two as separate.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, I agree with you. Necro Titan, just because a lot of if you collected the IDW, comic book Generations line last year, you saw that battle and such, but in those comic books. But so you're going with the
Not
Necro
to say
Titan?
that, yeah, not to discount that Hasbro couldn't just hear it and just at a whim say, you know what, we're gonna do a Triptychon. But as far as like what I would probably expect to see first, just on a hunch, probably would be like a repaint of Metroplex.
Okay. The rest of you guys?
I'd like to see a Triptychon, but I'd probably say that the Metro Titan or Necro Titan would be more feasible with the mold already existing.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, we did have Rick Alvarez on last week or 2 weeks ago. I forget exactly when it was.
2 weeks
Brought
ago.
this up, and he's the one that actually suggested to Hasbro to do a Metro Titan, and they snubbed it. So said that they didn't like the idea or whatever. Now it's been a few months now since he's been employed with Hasbro. So things have changed? Yeah, of course. And I remember when I was talking back with Robot Kingdom at BotCon, they were like, "There's two Titan figures that they have ideas for," and we didn't bring up Devastator. That was kind of from left field, but we're talking about Triptychon and Metro Titan, and mentioned a couple other things. But that's when he was kind of telling me, he was like, "You know what, you're kind of on the right track as far as what they're trying to do." So whether we can confirm either one, we can't really say right then, because he couldn't tell me officially. But having Rick on saying that Hasbro had already kind of snubbed the Metro Titan idea, I think that it would be Triptychon, because if you're going to buy, most people, if you're going to buy Metroplex or Metro Titan, which one would you buy? You'd probably buy the Metroplex. He's the most well-known one, and I think they just made way too many of them. Now it's hard to get one, because I want one now, and now I can't find them. But at one point, he went on sale for $49 at Costco, during Christmas season. And he was always, like, every week he was on sale somewhere where you could get them for less than $100. So I think it's one of those things that they want to get full price for it. Obviously, there's a lot of work, a lot of engineering, and a lot of plastic, and shipping, everything. It takes up shelf space, so a lot of retailers probably don't want to carry that many, and it's hard to move, a big figure like that. I think that they'd have to come out with something new, and if they wanted to come out with a few extra Metroplexes around that time as well, I think that having Triptychon come out, because that was my whole thing, was I'll buy Metroplex if I get a Triptychon. I want someone to square off with him.
Yeah.
I don't want, I've got my Fort Max because he's G1 Fort Max. But if I buy this Generations Titan Metroplex, I want him, if he can have someone to square off with, I'm good. But if he's just his own standalone, then I'm like, do I really just need another 2-foot robot, in my house? Not really, Uh, so I think that would also, kind of make people want to buy a Metroplex if they missed out on it, make maybe a limited amount or something like that. So I think it would be Triptychon, just from what Rick's kind of told us and kind of seeing what we heard at from Robot Kingdom when talking with them, and just the kind of the way that it would work as far as sales go. Because a lot of people, they don't like to buy repaints. There's people that are just like, it's a repaint. Even though it's a different new character, they're like, it's a repaint.
True. I know for a fact, even though they'll deny it, Hasbro is probably watching Make Toys' Utopia and their Dystopia that's coming out also, or whatever the hell they're calling their Metro Titan, and watching to see if that thing is actually going to sell or do whatever. And
Really?
I'm sure of it. They'll deny, like, we don't give a crap about third party because we're Hasbro, but I'm sure you don't. You always need to keep an eye on the competitor, whether how small they are, how big they are. You're always kind of like, what's that person doing? Because they want to take those sales away, if anything. And I mean, I would love to see a Triptychon. It would be great. We haven't had a Triptychon, an actual real Triptychon, since G1. We got the mold as Gigastorm. We got a Triptychon as a Scourge repaint from Energon or Cybertron or whatever the hell.
Yeah, the Legends.
Yeah. So it's like whatever on that. We need a Triptychon, and it would fall in suit with the reissue that's coming out here too, to kind of announce later on down the road, hey, we have a G1 Triptychon. Let's go off of that kind of momentum, and here we go for Christmas time. For all you guys that want to try and find it, we're going to release a Triptychon, Generations Titan class. Have at it.
That's what I was thinking, James, as well. That you brought up. It's just kind of go off of like, let's see what kind of interest this G1 Triptychon really gauges here, and if people are just like nuts about it, then it's like, all right, this thing seems to be selling out pretty quick. Well, let's go ahead and give them the Titan class one. That'd be another reason why as well.
And I could definitely see the Hasbro execs thinking, let's reissue that Titan class Metroplex. Maybe not release it as far as mainstream into like brick or mortar stores, Walmart, Target, but let's put it on the Hasbro Toy Shop again at whatever price point you want, and that's where you can get it. Use that special coupon code so you can get the free shipping, whatever. Granted, it's probably going to debut again at that $130 range, maybe, or maybe not. I don't know, but I could see them doing that maybe just to go along with Triptychon, and for people who like Josh who didn't have Metroplex, this is a good way to get it, and it's more money in their pocket, more of a bonus for the Hasbro.
Hasbro? All about me.
So, but yeah, definitely, it would be nice to have a Triptychon base city.
No, they put it on Hasbro Toy Shop right now for whatever, $130, $150. I'll buy it right now. Just based on all the little, I don't necessarily want to call them like clues, but little hints, nods, things that if you can pay attention to. Obviously, James and I doing the Cybercast, like we see every single week and every day when going through third-party stuff and being actually becoming friends with a lot of these third-party companies and having them on the show and having Hasbro employees come on, ex-Hasbro employees come on, tell us little stuff, give us little nuggets in the ear before and after the show and stuff like that. We can't ever say anything officially on air, but there's a little stuff that we notice, and we see the hints, we see the breadcrumbs, so.
See, Hasbro, we can keep a secret, so you guys can just, email us. We can be your focus group. We can do it off air, obviously. That would be fun. But I think that's it. We've been going for almost an hour and a half. So I think we'll just end it there. Went over some good stuff.
I had one quick comment
Okay.
from. Oh God, where did that thing go? Oh, it's from Chevytron951. He says, as far as the third parties versus official stuff, he says, at least the official and unofficial war isn't as bad as video game console wars. Those fans
Oh,
are
yeah.
worse.
Yeah.
They're worse
true.
than MTF fans. And yeah, man, I remember whenever it was Xbox One or PS4 or even 360, Xbox 360 versus PS3. And the thing is, I had both of the systems, and people would ask me, it's like, dude, are you like, Xbox 360? Because I was more into gaming, because I wasn't like collecting Transformers at that time. And they're like, are you, a Xbox? Or are you a PlayStation, guy? I'm like, I got both of them. I mean, they're both for different reasons. Like the Xbox is like sit here in the office, I play my multiplayer games and my shooter games and stuff like that. And then my PlayStation's in my living room, and that's where I buy my, like, I want to immerse myself into like a really good game, like an Assassin's Creed, Uncharted, Tomb Raider, Grand Theft Auto, and just sit on the couch all freaking day for like 12 hours. I eat, use the bathroom, and just play video games for like 12 straight hours. Not married, don't have any kids, so no one's bothering me, and just
Crack a window. That's all I say. Just crack a window.
don't bathe, nothing. Just wake
Gotta
up
stick
and
a
just
deodorant
start.
next to me just in case I start to smell a little ripe.
Yeah, so your legs start getting fused with the couch and stuff like that.
Got a catheter in.
But just immerse yourself into the game and play these like story games is what I call them. There might be a different name for them, but The Last of Us, all those. I love playing on my PlayStation, in the living room on my couch on the big screen, and they're beautiful, and that's also where the Blu-ray player is. So, it's for two different reasons there.
Yeah.
I don't think I have a single friend on PlayStation. I had a crap load on Xbox, but I ended up deleting a lot of people. So, still trying to figure out whether I want to go PS4 or Xbox One. I'm thinking
PS4.
I might go PS4. Jamie, you have PS4?
No, I would just go PS4. That's what I'm.
Well, because I'm looking at PS4, they're going to come out with an Uncharted 4 in December. And that's the whole reason I bought a PS3 and I had a PS2, but I also, I got into PS3 late because of Uncharted 2, and I ended up playing that whole series. I love it. It's my favorite series in video game history, I think. The Last of Us is an exclusive to the PlayStation as well, and they're obviously going to come out with another one of those, and that thing's awesome. If they come out with any more God of War stuff, I think is what it is.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Kratos, yeah. I played all those. I like those as well. Those story-driven games with great graphics, and they're not extremely hard. Like I don't even want the challenge. Like I put that crap on easy, and I like to just kind of coast through it and just enjoy myself. And even with like BioShock, like I check every little trash can, and I check Assassin's Creed. I check the loot on every little dude. I'm like, no, I want my 5 coins.
That's how I am with Skyrim.
See, that's why I would be such a boring streamer to watch, because the good streamers, they're like, yeah, action, here we go, or they're also doing like stupid faces and stuff like that. I'm not gonna do any stupid faces, but I'd be like, nope, we killed 10 dudes, we're checking every one of them to see what kind of loot they have. I want to get my 75 cents, so like no stone unturned. I want to get that, not necessarily 100% complete on the game, but I want to kind of do everything. And so I'm playing Black Cells right now, and I've been watching, or not Black Cells,
No.
that's pretty Black Flag, but I'm watching Black Cells. I'm watching Black Cells, and every time I'm on the pirate ship, I have their
You'd
opening.
almost think
I have that opening theme song from Black Sails playing in my head while I'm on the pirate ship,
Yeah,
and like,
that's a badass theme. I like that.
dude, I actually think that I'm God, what's the is it Toby Stevens or something like that? What the main guy? Whatever. Like I pretend that I'm him, and I'm gonna bring back NASA. So,
Nice.
so,
Yeah,
I don't know. I nerd out.
I don't do the video game stuff anymore. That's why I haven't gone PS1 or Xbox One or PS4. I'm just back in the day. I was a huge gamer. I had PlayStation. I had to have the Nintendo 64. I had to have the Dreamcast. Went to the next one: GameCube, Xbox, PS2, Xbox 360, PS3, the Wii. Now I'm like, I don't have the time, and just, I mean, I bought like the PS3 because of Metal Gear Solid 4. That's the main reason why I bought it. I bought the GameCube for Rogue Leader, and all that type of stuff, and it was just that drove me. I mean, Halo when it came out, I was late to the game for Xbox, but I bought it when they GameStop had their little package deal where you got the new controller because I hated that first gen controller, but they came out with the S, so it was smaller, and they had the Halo bundle pack and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. I'm more towards, I guess, PlayStation 4. I don't do any online gaming, so it's unless there's something I really, really need to have, I would go PS4. But I don't want to get into the whole debate on because I don't want like all of a sudden there's like 5,000 comments just raging on everything, and I get like 5,000 dislikes.
The online like shooters and stuff. There's so much crap or and BS that happens that it's like, you know what? I'd just rather not even put up with the crap anymore.
Yeah.
Like I used to be big into Call of Duty, and like we had clans and we'd do tournaments and stuff like that, and it just got to the point where I was like, I'm just sick of this. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Once the
prefer
game
the
is not
N64
fun
stuff.
anymore.
Yeah.
It's just it's the players, the way that they play and stuff like that, that I just got so sick of the way that they play.
And they're cheap and they're spoiled little brats at times when they lose. I love that.
Especially if they're the host. If you end their kill streak, they'll just rage quit, and then everyone's kicked out of the match.
Could do that in the
Especially
old school arcade tournaments because that dude was right next to you, so you couldn't just like flip.
That's what's missing.
Yeah.
Like the arcade feel, or like whenever I think we've talked about this like months ago, or maybe even a year ago, to where we used to have Halo parties back in college. When Halo 1 came out, and the way that you did multiplayer is you would have you'd order pizza and wings, and then here would come like another group of people, and 4 other dudes, their girlfriends, and then they bring their TV, their tube televisions, cart those 200-pound things into your living room, and y'all have them at opposite ends, and then have the Xbox plugged in, and you'd have to have that extra cable to connect them, and y'all would face off. And there was people talking trash back and forth, but if someone was playing like I don't know how the best way to say it, but if someone was being kind of a jerk about the way they were playing, then they were right there. You could call them out right then and there in front of everybody. So people usually didn't. They never played like that. Everybody was like on the up and up and played the way that the game's supposed to be played. So you didn't have any problems like that. People started doing stuff cheap. Hey, bro, we ain't even go outside. We're gonna do this right in front of your girl.
It's right in front of you.
Yeah.
It's time for a pantsing and
Hey, put that pizza down.
Sometimes we didn't even put the pizza down. We just go. Yeah, I mean there was a lot of accountability, especially when you had that one person on your team when you're doing like a capture the flag or something that's not pulling their weight. You're like you're just screaming, and they're right there. They're just like they're only a foot away from you, but you're screaming like get your butt in gear and all this type of stuff. And we're like, I
Or you have that
remember,
one guy that's always a decoy.
yeah, it's like dude, go over there, go over there, and we'll just like
And it's
friendly
usually
fire.
the
You're gone.
noobs.
You're out. So yeah. Oh man, yeah, we could be here for days talking about like console and gaming and all that kind of stuff. But
Still got a Super Nintendo and like a crap like 40 something games for it. They're all so hard.
oh yeah,
Like
Oh,
I hear a lot of like kids that are like, man, these games today are like so hard. I'm like,
they don't know what it's all about.
no.
have you ever played R-Type? Ask one of them that. Play R-Type.
Oh, Super R-Type, Super Nintendo.
Yeah. Any
That's fun.
R-Type game, yeah.
That's fun.
Dude, like today, like y'all even have a feature, easy, normal, hard, or like you're a crazy idiot or something like that, you know, for ultimate, you know, extreme difficulty. Back then, it was just like start or select or whatever it was. Basically, most of the time, just start. And if you couldn't get past it, because they would always, and like half the games, it'd be some bull crap early on in the first stage, and you're like, man, I can't get past this without Game Genie for the life of me.
Yeah,
Just blew $60, $70 on a game that you could only play about 3 or 4 minutes into before you got stuck.
Hmm.
I mean, you got bullets coming at you from everywhere. There's no, you gotta get to maneuver yourself to a certain place to dodge. I'm like, oh crap.
Like Contra.
Contra, Super C. Don't get me started on that one.
back then the games, I mean, they were only side-scrolling. You know, I mean, I still have my Nintendo. My son can kick my butt on most of the Nintendo games that we have. But he's got the faster reactions, but he's got, you know, I'm like, okay, I'm doing it. I'm trying to go as fast as I can with my thumbs, but I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm getting a cramp. Is there a save? Can I save and just, you know, oh no, I can't. There is no save.
Oh,
I have
no,
to get to that
no,
level so I
there is
can
no
get the
save.
password so I can come back later on and not even have all my full power-ups and stuff. And I'm like, oh man.
Yeah,
But
that's what hurts me when you get killed and you lose all those power ups and upgrades you got, because you are gonna need them in the later stages.
yeah, for some kind of crappy, you know, jumping that I had to go from one platform to the other, and I didn't get it just right, and I'm done. And it's like, oh my goodness. No wonder they made those Super Nintendos really durable, because you're just chucking that controller, you're slamming that game down. I'm going to play this game and slamming it in there and just turn it on, and like, you know, but
They should have made with the old school games or even today just let me pass. You know, it's like, look, I'm grinding it out, but I just can't beat this thing. But I'd like to get my full money's worth and finish the rest of the game and see how the story ends. So this part right here, I can't get past. Let me just go through and then go to your cutscene or whatever, and let me continue playing the game. Not just like, oh, you can't beat it, then you know.
We need a Mario Warp Zone so you can just get past that level and just go to the next one.
Yeah, just let me move past so I can keep on. I mean, come on, man. It's the first world, second level. Okay, I want to get my $60 worth.
Yeah.
Oh, the good times. I'm gonna have to do some old school gaming tomorrow. Play some Super Punch Out this time. But I don't know. All right, I think we're gonna end it there.
Alrighty.
What?
I said alrighty.
Okay.
Don't think there was any new comments. No.
Sweet. And we got a lot of viewers, which really do appreciate. I mean, we got all the way up to 20 at one time, so that's cool. And thank you for joining us. And we'll be here again next week, next Saturday, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. But if you guys want to outro yourselves, Dalton, start us off.
I'm Dalton. You can find me on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, all at Dalton TNSTFs. Tomorrow evening, there should be an update on whether I'll be able to do Cartoon Mondays this week or not. Just depends on my work schedule, so look out for that. It's gonna be over
Facebook.
You're gonna make an
Yeah,
update video on whether you're gonna make a video on Monday.
No, I'm gonna just post on Twitter and Facebook.
Oh, okay. Okay, I was just like, that's a little.
No.
I'm going to do a video tomorrow to explain if I'm doing another video and
On Monday.
capturing the moment in Monday. Yeah, no. That's cool. So check out your Facebook and Twitter.
Mhm.
So definitely follow you.
Start
Josh?
making a trailer for Cybercast on Fridays. Be like, hey, just letting you guys know that we are doing it. Cybercast, guys.
Do it in the morning on Saturday.
You can find me G1 Hexatron on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and my Facebook page is the G1 Hexatron. So there you go. You can call me Hex, Uncle Hex, Josh.
It's a little
whatever.
creepy. People start calling you Uncle Hex. But, you know.
You know, I posted it, on my Facebook page. There was this showed like Daniel and Mr. Miyagi, and then Marty McFly, and Professor whatever.
Or Doc. Yeah.
Doc, and it was like, our messages may be unorthodox and a little crazy, but I forget exactly what it said, but it said something like, us old people, know what we're talking about. I was like, yeah, Uncle Hex is here for you guys, and I am an uncle, so.
Just think it's kind of weird if you had a 40-year-old guy go, hey, Uncle Hex, what's up? Like,
I would accept them as my own. So.
all right, that's cool. That is awesome. Trent?
You can find me at Trent5, Facebook and Twitter.
Sweet. I am VictorySaber77. Find me Twitter and YouTube. And other shows you should be checking out. We have an eBay show. Episode 9 is in video form on G1 Extron's channel. It is once a month, Thursday, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time on this channel. And we'll let you guys know when the next episode will be appearing. And we also have the Cybercast, which airs a couple hours before the Aftercast every Saturday, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time on G1 Extron's channel. Also, next week, March 28th, we're going to have Omnigonics on there, the third-party company giving us spin out the not MP Sunstreaker, so that should be really cool. And little funny story, I'm just going to throw this out there really quickly so everyone can just kind of go with a little laugh. I already told you, Josh, but when you get to that certain age, when you have senior moments, make sure your password is incorrect. And then so when you forget your password and it comes up, it will prompt you password is incorrect. So it gives you your password right there. So there you guys go. Have a good week, and we'll see you next week.